As they start to get closer, yeah, you guessed it, the avoidant attachment system gets activated again, and the whole bloody cycle just repeats. Hey guys, Steve Cherelanders here. If you have either an anxious or an avoidant attachment style, you're going to want to watch this video, because there is a really interesting but toxic dynamic which happens when an anxiously attached person gets into a relationship with an avoidant. Let me know if this sounds familiar to you. You, the anxious partner, try and get close to your partner, the avoidant. After all, that's what you want, right? You want that intimacy and closeness. And when you start to feel it dissipating, you want to get that back together. So after you've made some effort to try and get that connection with your partner, they all of a sudden just start to pull away. You start to feel rejected, unloved, unworthy, and eventually, just as you're making the decision to leave, or eventually actually do leave, they reappear as if by magic. I mean, what's that about? Well, it's called the Anxious-Avoidant Trap, and I'm going to explain exactly what's happening in terms of attachment theory so you can understand it, and what could be done to avoid this massively toxic seesaw that you've landed yourself in. Okay, let's start with the anxious person's desire to get close to their partner. Now, by definition, if they start to feel any kind of distance between them and their partner, their attachment system becomes activated. So what do? Well, they start to exhibit what's known as protest behaviours. After all, they just want to reconnect, right? They want to get that closeness back again. So they do what they have to do. They may start to text more, to call more, to do anything humanly possible to just reconnect with that avoidant partner and get that reassurance that they desperately need. But from the avoidance point of view, they start to panic. Now their attachment system's being activated, and all they want to do is deactivate. They want to just distance. They feel like they need space. So what do? They distance themselves. This could be not returning calls, not texting, avoiding deep conversations, withholding affection, which just makes it worse for the anxious partner, right? Now, eventually the anxious partner is just going to get fed up with it all. They don't want that distance, and they're just fed up with the behavior. So they decide to actually leave. And unfortunately, it's only at this point that the avoidance starts to feel okay, because, well, the threat of that intimacy is no longer there. Their attachment system has finally calmed down. It's now deactivated. And I just want to make it clear, it's not actually that the avoidant doesn't want intimacy. He or she actually does want intimacy. It's just that they're scared by it. They haven't had that reliable, comforting figure growing up, and they've learned to be independent. So having to rely on someone starts to freak them out. So that's why they don't get drawn towards it. It's not that they don't want it. They're just scared by it. They actually do have a deep desire for it, but they want to keep a distance between them and someone else. So what happens now? Well, now there's no threat. They actually start to worry that they're going to be abandoned. You may have even left, and they might start to panic a little bit, thinking, I might never find someone like this again. They start to kind of idealize the relationship. They start to show these feelings to the anxious partner. And after all, those are the feelings that the anxious partner craved so much, that intimacy, that closeness. They're starting to see all this affection. And so, yeah, guess what? They get pulled back in. And maybe they finally changed, they might think. It's what they always wanted after all. But what I'm going to say next is, of course, no surprise to you. As they start to get closer, yeah, you guessed it, the avoidant attachment system gets activated again, and the whole bloody cycle just repeats. So the big question is there anything that can be done to just break this cycle, to get out of this monotonous routine, this cycle of heartbreak that happens between the anxious and avoidant person? And the answer, thankfully, is yeah. The key is not only for both partners to be hyper vigilant as to where they are in the cycle, but as soon as they notice it, they need to just talk about it. They need to communicate with their partner, and they need to make a conscious decision not to play this stupid game. And that could involve the avoidant being honest about how they feel, the fact that they need some time alone or some time to recharge. Agree on a phrase that you can use with your anxious partner that doesn't trigger the system. And then they know what to expect, right? And then plan on how you're going to reconnect. Plan, and plan again. That is the only way you're going to solve this problem. And that, along with great communication and listening, will help you to break free of this trap. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any other tips which you've experienced from being in this exact same situation, please drop them in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more relationship content.